To be honest, it looked easy that okay, these are all looks basics, but given the journey, it's not that easy.
From March onwards, when you started the preparation, on an average daily, how much time you were dedicating?
Kind of did it in stretches. Maybe Saturdays and Sundays especially.
Did you had a plan in the sense weekly targets or monthly targets? Anything that you had set up?
The only plan I had in mind that 1 month before I should be able to complete everything.
Was there any anxiety or anything before you started the paper?
But yes, I mean obviously there is some level of anxiety before the examination. Yeah.
In the exam questions, do they make it more tricky in the question, or do they make it more lengthy, more scenario driven, something like that?
I would say there was more element of trickiness in the questions.
Okay.
So these are not straightforward questions, I would say. So somebody,
Okay. And the two set exam, the morning and the 2 hours, and then there was a gap, and after that. So which set was more tough for you?
I think both were equally balanced.
Okay. And so for the first part, you had around 2 hours and 100 questions. Second part also 2 hours, 100 questions. So were you able to complete all the questions properly in those given time? Hello guys, I hope everybody is doing good. Hi, this is Ganesh Nayak. I help finance professionals and students to excel in their career and become a better version of themselves. And I also help students who are preparing for competitive exams in finance like CFA, FRM, CAIA, and SCR. And today I'm with one of my students who has been able to clear the CAIA Level 1 exam. He's going to be talking about his journey, what all things he faced challenge of, okay, because he's a working professional with around 15 years of experience, what has been his overall experience of clearing the exam, and some learning from his journey. So we have with us Rohit, first of all, thank you very much for taking out time and talking to us. If you can give a brief about you in terms of your experience, when did you decided to go for the exam?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for, first of all, thanks to you for guiding me and other students for the CAIA Level 1 exam. It was very helpful, especially, when you are working full time on the side. So a bit of introduction about myself. So my name is Rohit Gupta. I'm originally from Indore in India. I've been in Singapore for past 8 years now, but have been in this region for last I would say 10 years and on. I'm currently working with an alternative investment firm, so I'm already in this field, in charge of distribution in the Asia Pacific market for the alternative investment products.
Okay.
We look into real estate and private equity investments. In the past, I have also worked in the hedge fund side, so have a bit of practical knowledge on the alternative investment sectors. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And so when did you decide to go for the exam? Any specific month or any specific year that you had a thought?
I always wanted to kind of get a charter. Was evaluating which one could be the best for me, given what I have done in the last 12 to 13 years in my career.
Mhm.
And out of the few, I think CAIA exam was looking very relevant, and I thought it's the right time to get this charter because you have been in the industry for such a long time, worked in the hedge funds, worked on the private equity, even on the real estate side now. So I thought maybe the charter would help to kind of elevate my profile a bit, and
Oh,
get more knowledge on the subjects.
okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And so you for the September exam, when did you start your preparation?
So I started preparation in March itself. I thought maybe at least need to have 4 to 5 months well in advance, given you can't study every day, given you're on a full time role. So March, I would say that's where started preparing sincerely for it. Yeah.
Okay. And when you must have seen the curriculum before starting the journey. So in March you started the lectures and all with us. But before that, also, you must have seen the book. So, by looking at the content, what was the first thought that you had?
Given I have worked in these sectors, it looked doable to me. I'll be honest, it looked easy, that okay, these are all looks basics. But given the journey, it's not that easy. You have to
Right.
spend hours. So I was initially a bit overconfident that maybe it takes a bit less. For me, it might take a bit of less time, but as you
Okay.
go through the through the chapters, and once you bring everything together, it becomes a bit difficult to comprehend everything together. Yeah.
From March onwards, when you started the preparation, on an average daily, how much time you were dedicating?
So frankly speaking, I was not able to study every day. Kind of did it in stretches. Maybe Saturdays and Sundays especially, and then few weekdays spend maybe 1 hour or 2 hour in the night time.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know how to calculate on the on an hour basis, but it was not daily at all. When I tried, but given there is you're on a full time job, it's pretty hard to kind
Right.
of fix hours on a everyday basis. So on the weekends, I would say studied for 4 to 6 hours. I think that helped me.
Okay.
Hmm.
And did you had a plan in the sense, weekly targets or monthly targets? Anything that you had set up?
I wanted to create a plan, but I think
Okay.
one good thing related to Fintelligent program is that you have weekly classes, so you know very well what's going to happen. So on the
Mhm.
chapter side, you are sorted. You don't have to plan when you want to finish this chapter and all.
Okay.
The only plan I had in mind that 1 month before, I should be able to complete everything, and I should be able to give the mocks. So basically, if let's say the exam is on 12th September. So by 31st July, I wanted to finish everything,
Okay.
and then be ready to give mocks from first week of August itself. So I think that was the main plan.
This was planned, but when you reached 31st of July, what was the status?
So when I reached 31st of July, I had to take additional 10 days. So I was off.
Okay.
So
Okay.
maybe from 12th of August, I would say I was ready.
Okay.
Instead of
Okay.
first, but I chose the last day for the exam, perhaps for that reason, because I knew it will be stretched a bit. Yeah.
So when we were saying that you'll be completing by 31st of July, so the idea is that you'll be attending the lectures, you'll watch the videos, and also the question bank. The chapter is question bank also. Am I correct?
Yes, correct. So the question banks were quite big, right? I mean, especially provided by Fintelligence, they were quite comprehensive. Every every chapter had almost 90 questions minimum, I would say, 30 each. So I
Hmm.
had not solved all of them
Okay.
during the when the lectures were being taught. But it kind of the strategy that worked for me, I think, was that uh, you when I was revising them, when I was revising for the first time, I solved those question banks.
Okay.
So that kind of helped to pick up the question solving
Mhm.
as well as the content. So both came hand in hand. So I think it worked quite well because you immediately know where you are weak, and at the same time, since you are revising, you can pay more attention to that part.
Okay.
So
And
yeah, I don't know if I answered this correctly.
no, no, this is correct. Perfect. So, but after the portion was completed, we also had the sectional test. So, did you get the time to solve those sectional tests?
Pretty much towards the end, at the very end. So my exam was on 12th September. So the sectional test I started on 1st of September onwards. I remember. Yeah.
Okay. And what about the mocks? The full length
Mocks
mocks.
just a week before. So I gave close 3 mocks actually.
This
I
included your
wanted to give more, but I could only give three. Yeah.
this included the CI Institute provided mock also.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And
That's
did you, because before the exam we were also talking, right? So flashcards, okay, there was a flashcard available by the institute. So did you get time to go through those flashcards properly or not?
I couldn't. I didn't get the time to go
Okay.
through it. But I think Kaya also had some closer, some. some summarized versions on
Okay.
the internet from previous years. So I looked at it for the topics that I was not scoring well.
Okay.
So that kind of helped me to gain more understanding of it. Yeah.
Okay. And when you went to the actual exam, okay, uh, I'm assuming that this, when you talk about the competitive exam, so there has been a gap in, you must have given
Yeah.
it, say, 5, 7 years back or 10 years back. Okay.
Yeah.
So was there any anxiety or anything before you started the paper?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the nature of the competitive exams,
Right.
especially when you're giving after so many years. So definitely, and it's a big curriculum to say, right? So
Mm.
when you go to exam, you feel that you are forgetting something. But I had scored okay during my mock, so that gave me a bit of confidence before the exam. So I just thought that maybe just keep a calm mind and give it should be okay. But yes,
Okay.
I mean obviously there is some level of anxiety before the examination. Yeah.
And when you started solving,
Yeah.
okay, so the exam is conducted in two parts, and there is a optional break which is there in
Yeah.
between. So what happened in the first part? In the sense, uh, is everything happened as you planned, or how many calculation, how many theory questions were there? Broadly, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, look, not at all things don't go as you planned, for sure. I would say 20-30% maybe calculations based, and the rest
Right.
was pretty theory style, which is quite standard in CAIA papers, and it's mentioned pretty well on the website as well on what could be the rough distribution.
Right.
So I think that was it, and then I took the break definitely. The
Okay.
kind of questions were different as well. What you see from the regular Kaya mock test or something else, but quite standard exam. You enjoy solving them. Yeah.
So do they, in the exam questions, do they make it more tricky in the question, or do they make it more lengthy, more scenario driven, something like that?
I would say there was more element of trickiness in the questions.
Okay.
So these are not straightforward questions, I would say. So somebody who's attempting them needs to have a very clear understanding of the core concepts
Okay.
to solve it in within the given time frame. So yeah, I mean, I would say there are some tricky questions. So you have to know the core concept quite well, even though the concept look very easy, but
Okay.
it might be tested in a different way. Yeah, so I feel that happened during the exam, and it can make you a bit uncomfortable, given the amount of time you have, right? So you don't know whether you are marking the right answers or not. So you have to be well prepared in solving
Okay.
these tricky questions. Yeah.
And how many times before the exam you must have gone through the textbook?
You mean the notes, right?
Yeah.
Only once fully. After
Okay.
finishing the first phase, you can just revise it once. But I think the key is that you focus on where you're weak.
Hmm.
Some subjects everybody is strong at something, right? I feel
Right.
some chapters you will be very good. You will be scoring consistently well in the mocks or individual test. You have to clearly kind of write down where you are falling short consistently,
Okay.
and then you just focus on that. Then I think it should be okay. Yeah,
Okay.
should
And
be okay.
the two set exam, the morning and the 2 hours, and then there was a gap, and after that. So which set was more tough for you?
I think both were equally balanced.
Okay.
I cannot distinguish which section part one or part two was tough. I think both were equally well balanced for me, especially. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And
And obviously, when you're doing the second paper, you after 150 questions, you feel a bit tired as well. Your mind starts questioning whether the previous answers are correct or not. So
okay.
it becomes a bit tricky. So you have to. maintain the speed, and
Hmm.
don't spend too much time on the questions for review. You can't you the I think the idea should be to finish the test as soon as possible, so that if the time permits, you can go back. Otherwise, yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Okay. And so for the first part, you had around 2 hours and 100 questions. Second part also 2 hours, 100 questions. So were you able to complete all the questions properly in those given time?
Yeah, I think I was for the first part. I remember I had 5 6 minutes remaining, but the that was not enough to go back and review the questions. Maybe
Right.
three or four I could review, and the second part was just on time.
Okay.
Exactly on time. But I was happy that because once there was a point during the second set, I felt that I might be short of three four questions in the end, but
Okay.
I was happy when I was able to finish the second part, but right on time. Yeah, maybe
And
1 minute remaining. Maybe one
and
minute
in
remaining.
the exam, when you look at
Mhm.
the size of the question, the text, question text, okay, was it very lengthy? Was it small? I mean, were you taking a lot of time to read the questions?
It was very similar to the mock test. So not very lengthy, not very short as well. It was a mix. It was a mix, I would say.
Okay.
So I didn't find, like, they were like extremely big case study types question only, or it was well balanced, I would say. Yeah, based on the mock. So I think mock test is one of the best. The
Okay.
CAIA mocks are one of the best, comparison for the questions you can expect. Yeah,
Okay.
in
And
terms of length and difficulty as well. Yeah, yeah.
with respect to the calculation piece, was
Mhm.
the calculation straightforward, or was it like calculation plus some tricky theory?
There were a few questions, definitely, where there was an element of calculation, and there was some tricky theory behind it as well. As maybe I saw it, or maybe there was some simple thing that I
Okay.
couldn't catch. But there were some questions, I feel, which where there was good amount of calculation required to reach the final answer. And then there was some straightforward questions as well. So yeah, so again, I would say quite quite balanced on that side. Yeah.
In the curriculum for level one, so you have books like Introduction to Alternative Investment. There is series of chapter into that, and there is private equity, hedge fund. So which book or which section was very easy for you, and which section was tough for you?
Personally, for myself, during the mocks and the sectional test or individual test, I was easily performing, you know, in the hedge fund side, which is considered tough for a lot of students, but I
Hmm.
found it quite easy for myself. Introduction to alts, again, very basic, but there I was struggling to kind of get more score, where I thought it will be easier for me. So for
Okay.
me, it worked other way. The hedge funds were tough. Hedge fund and the digital assets. Sorry, hedge fund was the easy part. Introduction to alts and digital assets was kind of tricky for
Tough
me
for you. Okay.
to answer. And the rest, private debt, private equity, were okay. I won't say they are easy, but there are concepts that you need to know very well, where you might get easily
Okay.
confused and you know take the wrong answer. So yeah, but for me, hedge fund was the easiest, I felt.
Hmm.
And then introduction to alts and digital assets and commodities. Yes, commodities was the more were the tricky ones. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And if I ask you in this entire journey, what was a major challenge that you faced?
So I think the major challenge was, of course, to kind of pace with the your daily full time role, right? I mean,
Okay.
depending on where you're working, what are you working, you have to, if you're not able to study on weekdays, you have to commit significant amount of time
Hmm.
during weekdays, right? And it's not, of course, you don't have the lifestyle of studying on weekdays for the past 10 years. For on the weekends, these are the days you go out with your family, take care of
Right,
kids
right.
or go outside. And then you have to suddenly stop everything and focus on studies. So yeah, I mean, that's the most challenging part, I think. Curriculum per se, you get a personal satisfaction that you are learning something new. So that's
Okay.
okay, but committing the time is the challenging part. And the second part it would be that once everything is finished, then how you remember everything.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
long curriculum. It's a long curriculum, and for somebody who doesn't have exposure on the alternative investment side, I think it's not easy. It's not easy.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they will have to
somebody who
compensate.
has.
They
Hmm.
will have to compensate in more number of hours, basically, but they will have to get
Exactly,
the.
exactly. And I mean, not even that. I would say that they have to study the real cases
Okay.
and feel it, then to grasp a better on the concepts, right? So I
Right.
think I feel for somebody who's taking it, who's very pretty young and just starting on the industry, they have to be they have to be prepared very well. Yeah,
Okay. Interesting. And when
yeah,
you came out of the actual exam,
yeah.
what was your understanding? Whether you are going to clear the exam, whether you're going to be failing the exam, what was there in your mind?
Yeah, so frankly speaking, I mean, look, the only benchmark, that you have to get minimum 70%, right?
Hmm.
It's not a lower number. And so there was an element of doubt in my mind that, okay, maybe, maybe I was just on the boundary, or,
Okay.
with three or four questions, I might not be able to make it. So there's always that doubt because, like I said, all questions are not straightforward.
Right.
So you have that in your mind that, okay, maybe I chose the wrong one, or maybe
Okay.
the two options look pretty similar. Maybe I could have picked the better one. So yeah, it's basics on how do you run the test. But look, I mean, the passing percentage is not known to anyone. It's just 70%. It kinds of put thing in your head that, okay,
Hmm.
70%, you have to feel that you have given a very good exam.
Okay.
And that feeling doesn't come after you have spent 2 hours, sorry, 4 hours solving 200 questions. But I think the satisfaction should come if you are getting the right answers, and then you are able to complete comfortably. I think that should give somebody a confidence that, okay, maybe I'm above the line. Yeah.
Okay. And now the result has come. You have cleared the exam. So if you, so what was the overall result for you? If you can give a gist.
Yeah, I mean, it was good actually. I mean, what I thought after the exam. So most of my scores were in the strongest category. So it was 8 sections. So I got four on the stronger side, four on
Okay.
the higher side. So I thought it was quite good, given on what I had thought after the giving the exams.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now the final question from my side. If you can give top three tips from your understanding that somebody who is preparing for this exam, CII level one, what should be the strategy or what should the three tips work like?
Sure. I mean, from the start, I would say focus a lot on the concepts. Don't worry about other things. Just learn the concept very well.
Okay.
Um, uh, don't worry about solving questions at that time when you are going through the concept for the first time. If Because you can spend more time in learning the concept, and that will help you at the later part of the studies. Maybe from my experience, maybe I rushed into some of the concepts,
Okay.
and then I had to come back, and after solving question, I realized that, okay, I didn't understand this, and then I have to do it again. So that wastes a lot of time. So that's number one.
Okay.
To spend a lot of time on the concept, even it's taking more time. Second, I would say finish it before 1 month, at all cost. It is very necessary. You have to revise at least once entire curriculum, right? So that's very important, and that revision has to be very comprehensive. And third, I think what worked for me, or maybe for others as well, is that you need to have something handy in before 1 or 2 days before the exam. So what are you going to read, right? Is it the
Right.
formulas? It can't be just formulas, right? Formulas are 20-30% of the exam. Maybe you need to write down each and every concept where you are doing mistakes. So it
Okay.
could be a note that, okay, this is how it works, this is how it works. So I remember that before the exam, I had a small diary with, let's say, 20 to 30 pages filled with those where I have consistently made mistakes. And that was a concept that kind of was confusing as well. So you need to have that notes with you so that before the exam you can study them and
Okay.
don't repeat it, right? And then I think it should be okay. So these, I would say, three things. So learn the concepts well, finish the curriculum 1 month. Third, I would say, have a notebook in hand where you are writing down what are the mistakes you are doing consistently. And the last
Right.
one, if I could say, the fourth point, is solve the mocks, which is the most important
Yes.
part.
Yes.
I mean, nothing more important than that. So yeah, I mean, solve as much mocks. It's not going to hurt you. It's every mock you solve, I think you get 10% better, 10 to
Okay.
15% better. So yeah, I mean, even if you are weak on concept, but you have solved, let's say, 10 mocks, then the probability of you getting the exam clear is much higher. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Rohit. I think so. This conversation will help a lot of students because see, you have walked that path and you know what it takes to clear the exam. You had your own journey. I think so. People will watch this video. They will get motivated. They will learn from your mistake, and it will help a lot of new students to think about the exam in a very different manner. So again, thank you very much, Rohit, for taking out time and talking to us.
No worries. Thank you, and thanks to all the Fintelligence team for helping us with the preparation. Thank you.